What's up guys, TC here and welcome back to Starbound Custom Creations, and today I've got a really special episode for you guys. So this episode is going to be on how to make your own custom spawners, custom power-ups, and custom arenas. So this is a really cool thing I've been playing around with. It kind of allows you to pretty much make your own little custom arenas with anything you want to happen. It's pretty crazy. So we can make custom monster spawners, make them spawn in whatever monster you want. Power-ups, like maybe you wanted to have health power-ups spawn in, or maybe power boost, where it boosts your damage output to spawn in occasionally. Item pickup, stuff like that. It's really cool, really diverse, and there's a lot you can do with it. So let's give a quick demo. The first one here is just a Scandroid spawner I made, and like I said, you can put any monster in here you want. So we're going to put a little thing here on the wall. They are wireable, so you can turn them on and off. I think this one has about a 10-second delay on it, so we'll see a Scandroid here pop up any second. Just give him a sec. Any second now. There he is, so I'm going to turn that off. And you'll see they spawn in like that. Go ahead and kill him. But yeah, you can make any of these spawners do anything you want. You can make this one here. These are power-up spawners. This is a healing orb. So if we place this down, you're going to see it immediately spawn one in. There you go. And if we hop out of admin mode, it'll I'll be able to pick it up. There you go. So as you can see, I picked up. I have a regeneration effect going on. So let's hop back out of admin mode. And just to give a quick little demo of this stuff, I'm going to use a kind of an overpowered weapon here. We're going to turn it on just really briefly to give you guys a demo of this. There you go. So as we have a speed orb up here. We've got some robots that have spawned here. Some bob bots. Here's a healing orb over there. Got a giant-ass drone right here. Let's kill this guy. 1 second. So it's super fun. You can do all kinds of stuff. I've got these all these spawners here on different timers. So basically, you and your friends could put one of these arenas together. Your own custom monsters, your own custom weapons, your own custom power-ups, even traps and stuff you wanted to put on there. You can make the intervals in which they spawn monsters different. So like that big robot boss that spawned in, I have him spawning in like every 40 to 80 seconds. I think he would spawn in. So it kind of, you know, you have to stay on your feet. I put the power-ups in here, that way you don't have to worry about like running out of like healing stems or food or whatever. You can just rely on the power-ups, and you can make these power-ups anything you wanted. Any status effect in the game, you can make them. And so today I'm actually going to show you, in a minute here, we're going to jump over to my notepad, and I'm going to show you guys how to customize these. They are really, really simple, so even if you're not very good at this, they're still really easy to edit and adjust. So real quick, we're going to jump over to that, and I'm going to show you guys how to make your own custom. Okay guys, and we are back. We are on my notepad here, and so right here you'll see I've got several different commands like I usually do. So I'm going to highlight, I'm going to go through a couple of these and give you kind of some general examples of what you can change, you know, what kind of stuff you can do with these. They're incredibly simple. As you can see, they're not very long, so anyone can really play with these. And I'm sure some of you more advanced users out there are probably laughing at how simple these are, but I think most people don't have a super in-depth knowledge. So let's jump into it. The first one here, spawn item, monster spawner 12. The 12 is just the total number you get. So you get 12 spawners. I just have this set to 12 for some, I don't know, random reason. I just needed a couple so I could test them out. Short description, Scandroid spawner. You can change that to whatever you wanted. The description here, kind of what pops in the display box. Spawns a Scandroid every 15 to 20 seconds. So this way you can kind of keep track of what its attributes are. The spawner, so this is where it says monster types, and in these quotes here is where you're going to change the monster. So I have Scandroid. You could make this whatever you want, and you're going to see in all these examples I have robotic monsters, but you could put any type of monster you want there. You can even put multiple, and in a few minutes I'm going to show you how to put multiple monsters in here. Up next we have monster level. So this you'll see is actually, there's two numbers here, 4, 8. What this means is that the monsters will spawn with levels anywhere from 4 to level 8. So I know a lot of you play Frackin' Universe, and I think Frackin' Universe goes to level 10. As most of you know, I only play vanilla, so for me 6 is what I gear all my weapons to when I make custom weapons. So if you see a monster at level 8, it's going to be a really strong monster because your gear is only designed to level 6. So what this does is any monster that spawns out of the spawner is going to be between 4 and 8. You can change this to whatever you wanted. If you're a Frackin' Universe guy and you want it to be between 10 and 12, you can. If you want it to only spawn level 10, you just put 10 and 10. That would guarantee it always spawns a level 10. The monster parameters, this is where if you wanted to, like all those custom monsters I made, the like completely customized ones, you could put those in here. I'm not going to do it today because it's a little bit more complicated, but if you are pretty savvy at this, you can plug those monsters in too. The monster parameters, I have it aggressive set to true just so it automatically targets you, but if for some odd reason you wanted to make them neutral or friendly, you could. Position, this one here just ensures that they spawn above the spawner. If you have this set to 0, they'll spawn in the ground. They'll get stuck sometimes, so just make sure this is always at least a 1 or a 2. Position variance, this is just kind of so you can't spawn camp them. This means they'll spawn within 10 blocks of the spawner horizontally, right? So this way you can't just like stand with your like sword directly over their spawn spot and, you know, spawn camp them to death. The frequency, so this is how often they spawn. So you'll see it's another array or like a variance here. So we have it between 15 and 20. So between 15 and 20 seconds is how often they will spawn. You can set this to whatever you want. If you want them every 20 seconds, you just make it 20 and 20. And so for like the weaker monsters, you want to put them on like pretty fast timers. The really strong ones, like the heavy drone down here, I keep this one on a really high one, so 40 to 80, just because they're really tough even with 2 people sometimes. The stock, this is the number of monsters that it has in its stock. So I'm not sure what the limitations of this are. I put 999 because that's a shitload of monsters and I'm never going to burn through that many. And I know that 999 works. I don't know how high this number can go. And also a lot of times in the game, if you put a negative number, it'll just be infinite. And it does spawn them in, but I'm not sure if it's actually infinite. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for 999 monsters to spawn just so I can count them. So, I mean, 999 is a pretty safe bet. Trigger, I use wire just because I want to have control over the arena of when they spawn in, so you can wire everything up exactly how you want it to. Now, I'm going to hop down here to this one because this one kind of gives an example of how to do more than one monster. So you'll see over at the monster type, we have BobBot in the quotes, and then we have a comma, a space, and then we have another monster in quotation. So here we have the tripod. Right, so you could put any amount of monsters in here. Now, it's not going to spawn both at once. It's just kind of like the set of monsters it can choose from. So this kind of makes one spawner have a big degree of variance in what it spawns. And you can spawn stuff like the random ones too. Like you could put large flying in here. Oopsie. There. You could put large flying or large biped and you'd get the random monsters in here. Now, if we hop down to the power-ups down here, you'll see these are, they got a little bit more to them, but they're really not much more complicated at all. So again, Ancient Ice Trap 12 can give us 12 of them. The short description is a healing orb spawner. The long description is the spawns a healing orb every 30 seconds. Fire time, this is how often it pops a orb up, so I have it on 30 seconds. This way you can, I like to keep these at a notable amount, so you'll see after it is fire time variance. This kind of is a degree of variance in how often it will spawn. It will shoot these out. If you don't want it to be exactly 30 seconds every time, you can change this, but I like my power-ups to be on a set schedule, so you can kind of know like every minute or every 30 seconds you're going to be getting one. So I always keep this at 0. So you'll see this one is going to spawn one every 30 seconds. Projectile count is just 1. Inaccuracy, this means it's going to shoot in a perfectly straight line. Power is 0 just because you don't want it to damage anyone. It is a power-up after all. The projectile, I use a red globe because it glows. It's very, very obvious when it shows up, you know. The projectile config, this is just to make sure that you can pick it up. Now, one of the weird side effects to this is that enemy monsters can also pick up your power-up. So I think it kind of adds a degree of fun to it, because that means if you have like a rage buff and you can't get to it in time and your enemy picks it up, now your enemy has the power-up and not you. So it kind of adds some like variance and some strategy to it. The processing here, I wouldn't worry about this too much. All this does is this kind of changes the hue, the color of the globe. So this is a red globe projectile, and I wanted it to be pink, so I used processing and a hue shift of -60, so now it's like a pink color. And this is if you want to change the color of the orb. So speed 5, what this does, this is how fast the projectile comes out, and at 5 it plops it out at just a slow enough speed that it kind of stops at chest level for the player. Obviously you could change this to whatever you wanted. But this works for putting them on the ground. Damage type, no damage. This is just a formality. I wouldn't worry about that. Time to live. This is how long the power-up will be around before it disappears. So 20 seconds, I think that's pretty fair. And usually by 20 seconds, someone will have picked it up. You know, they're pretty noticeable, and there's oftentimes enough monsters that one of them will accidentally wander into it within 20 seconds. Periodic actions. This is just how I have the sound effects on here. There's lots of ways to add sound. This is just how I've kind of done it. I wouldn't worry about this. Action on reap is what happens when it dies. So what happens when the projectile goes away. So on this one I've got it doing a sound effect, which is, don't worry about that. But here's where the kind of actual status effect comes in. So if you look in here, it's another projectile that spawns in very briefly. But here's the effect, and I've got red stem in quotes. And here's the duration of 20. So it means you'll get a red stem effect for 20 seconds. So this could be anything. You could make it the levitation status for however long you wanted it. And like these could be anything. They could be buffs, debuffs, all kinds of stuff. There's just so much you can do with it. It's really fun. And yeah, so that's pretty much what covers it here. And so you'll see I have another one down here. This one's a speed spawner. This gives you like a speed power up, and I've got run boost. Duration for 30 seconds. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. There's just so much. It's really fun. I feel like if you're an old school fan, you'll remember that director mode thing that the devs talked about. This is kind of like not a full-on director mode. Director mode was like gonna allow you to make missions, but this will allow you to make like arenas with you and your friends. You guys can make your own custom guns, your own custom spawners with your own custom monsters and your own arenas, and control it and make it however difficult you wanted to make it. And if you're really intricate, you could actually make these things work in like levels. So like for every minute that it goes on, more spawners become active. So there's a lot of stuff you could do with this. You can make it like, oh, can you last 10 rounds? And by like the 10th round, you've just got like 50 monsters spawning in, you know. You could make a challenge out of it. So anyways, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'd like to get, maybe get Firespark and do a little co-op mission one day. Me and him put together an arena, our own custom stuff or whatever, and do a little, you know, 10-15 minute battle video. You guys let me know what you think. Any kind of stuff you'd want to see, like similar to this. If you'd want to see, you know, maybe some videos of me doing this, I'm going to put, after this video, I'm going to do like a little 1 or 2 minute demo of my arena. It's not anything crazy, and I'm going to be using an overpowered weapon because I don't want to get killed on camera and look like a noob. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Let me know any ideas you have, any kind of weapons or power-ups and stuff you want to see. Let me know in the comment section below, and that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.